Hey, what's going on everyone, and welcome to the road to rank 1. For today's video, I'll be playing as Kael'Thas in the Garden of Terror. As we take a look at the final draft for the match, let's analyze the threats on the enemy team. First up is a combo that has seen a lot of popularity in both the competitive scene and in Hero League, Illidan and Abathur. Together, these two complement each other extremely well. Abathur allows Illidan to stay in fights longer thanks to his shields and sustain, and Illidan allows Abathur to get a ton of damage done by always being on top of an enemy hero. To keep Illidan alive even longer, they have a Lily constantly pushing out heals from their back line. The key thing for us is bursting down the Illidan instantly. It'll be extremely important for Sylvanas to silence the Illidan before he's able to use Metamorphosis, and if she can't, she'll have to cancel Lily's Jug of 1,000 Cups as soon as possible. Let's jump into the game. As the match starts, we have Brightwing soloing top, ready to teleport anywhere she's needed. I'll be soaking mid, playing super passively, and Sylvanas will be putting the pressure bottom, with Nova and Anubarak looking for ganks throughout the early game. Noticing that both Illidan and Johanna were a bit overextended in middle, Nova and Anubarak collapsed from different angles at the same time. Pause it here. This is why communicating through pings is so important in this game. As you can see here, we have two targets, Illidan and Johanna, and I have two teammates coming in from different angles. At the time, I figured, Johanna is more overextended, and Illidan can jump to that minion, so let's focus the Johanna. While I thought that was an obvious assumption, my teammates had a very good reasoning for thinking otherwise. Illidan is squishier, Nova is primed and ready to burst him down, and Anubarak can close the gap very quickly by burrow charging him. As we roll the clip, you're going to notice I'll start on the Johanna, but immediately switch my focus when the Nova opens on the Illidan. However, it was too late, and the living bomb that I placed on Johanna at the start of the fight would have actually killed the Illidan had I been on the same page as my teammates. 30 seconds later, as the first night phase begins, we try once again to gank the Illidan, and once again, miscommunication is going to prevent us from picking up the kill. Pause it here. To me and Nova, this is a guaranteed kill. I have my gravity labs available to knock him up, and she's ready to land her snipe. The Anubarak, on the other hand, is going to be the odd man out this time as he backs away instead of diving the Illidan. Had he followed up my gravity labs with his impaling blades, Illidan would be dead and we would easily secure a Garden Terror. Instead, the night phase plays out normally, with both teams picking up the small camps on their side of the map and then splitting up to take a terror each. At least that's what everyone except for Illidan and Lily had planned. Even though their Johanna and Vala were busy fighting the bottom terror, they decided to fight a 2 vs 4 at the top. With the help of Abathur, they actually put up a great fight, and had they picked up 2 more seeds, Illidan's death would have actually been worth it. Now what you're about to witness is what taking a 3-day break off of Heroes of the Storm can do to a person. Enjoy the hilariously embarrassing moment when I was convinced we had enough seeds for a terror. Now we're going to skip quite a bit because I'm playing a very passive Kael'Thas and there's not a lot of action happening across the board. Both teams have really high scaling heroes, Kael'Thas and Illidan, so neither team is really interested in taking risks. As the second night phase begins, both teams are tied at level 10. This time though, it is our team that ends up splitting up. As Sylvanas tries to grab the small bottom camp, the entire enemy team collapses on her and gets the kill. Each team ends up killing a Garden Terror and grabbing enough seats to summon one. As both teams take the terrors, me and Sylvanas immediately head down to defend against theirs, while Anubarak and Brightwing push with ours controlled by Nova. The other team had decided to send all 4 of them to defend against the terror, which gave them the man advantage and allowed them to pick up a kill on Brightwing, followed soon after by Anubarak. However, we were much better at focusing down the terror, and so despite giving away those 2 kills, we got a lot more structure damage done and we were able to stay somewhat even in levels. With the third night phase coming up, things are finally going to start getting interesting now that both teams are approaching level 16. Similar to the second night phase, this one is actually very important because both teams are going into it with a really high amount of seeds, and it's possible for one team to summon 2 complete terrors while the other team only gets 1. Unfortunately, our team is split once again. Me and Sylvanas are taking down the bottom terror while Anubarak and Brightwing are near the top side. Thankfully, they notice the numbers disadvantage in time, and through great use of their mobility, they're able to kite the entire enemy team backwards to our base while we finish the terror. With our terror now pushing down their structures and keeping them distracted, we were able to secure the top terror as well, giving us enough seeds for a second plant. Both teams are now 16, and this is where Kael'Thas shines. My job is simple: stay back and keep pumping out flame strikes. If Illidan jumps in, CC him and try to burst him down. At this point, both teams' terrors have been defeated and our second one is ready to go. The Brightwing makes a crucial mistake that a lot of players do. Even though our Nova still had 7 seconds on her death timer, and we had a huge wave top that we needed to clear, she takes the terror and goes off on her own to try to siege. We're not level 10 anymore, you can't do that. The terror is a monster in the late game, and against a heavy engage comp like theirs, you have to stay grouped with it. Skip forward a few seconds and the enemy team does exactly what they're supposed to do. Noticing that the terror was off on its own while the rest of our team postured nearby, they force a 4v5 initiation and convincingly win the fight. We were now a whole level behind, and because they had the level 20 advantage, the enemy team decides to force a siege in the middle. Against our specific team composition, not a good idea. Pause it here. Now this is looking really bad for them. I got a flame strike on the Vala, forcing her away. The Nova and Sylvanas got some good damage on Johanna, and Lily is starting to panic. They're forced to immediately back away before any more damage is done, but look at who they're leaving behind. Inside this web blast from a new Barak is an Illidan with metamorphosis still available. I knew that in order to secure the kill, I needed to be ready with a gravity lapse to hit him right as soon as he came out, preventing him from using it. Our new Barak also does great. Instead of waiting for the Illidan to come out, he charges into their back line to zone them out and prevent them from helping. And there it goes, gravity lapse on time, and bam, he gets bursted down quickly. As we chase them down, we're able to pick up the Lily. And right as Vala is getting ready to vault and bolt away, Brightwing gets a timely polymorph. And as it's about to fall off, I bolt in to follow it up with another gravity lapse to secure the kill. This is where we screw up. All 4 of our players are above 75% health, and it's only Johanna and Abathur alive for the enemy team. Instead of pushing together and taking down the middle keep, both our Nova and the Brightwing unnecessarily return to base to clear the bottom wave. Regardless, both teams were now tied at level 20 and the 4th night phase was starting. With 2 of their players still down for some time, we focused down the bottom terror with the intention of fighting them at the top one. Right as we killed it, Nova, who had been scouting the whole time, reveals them fighting the top terror. Pause it here. This is actually pretty risky for us. With Sylvanas flanking from this right side, the enemy team could have easily turned on her and bursted her down since our Brightwing was on the opposite side of the fight. However, how we end up playing this fight is fantastic. I'll be sitting down here spamming flame strikes away. Anubarak is going to get a phenomenal web blast on the Lily to prevent heals, and Sylvanas is going to get a massive wailing arrow on the cluster here, preventing Illidan from using metamorphosis. Let's watch. There goes the arrow, flame strike to follow it up, and down goes the Illidan. Johanna follows soon after, and my team chases down the Vala for the triple kill. Unlike the last time we won a team fight, we weren't going to make the same mistake again. 3 of us grouped up and firmly pushed down the top side to secure the keep. While this was happening, Brightwing had returned to base and was going to be able to secure the middle keep using the terror. For the next couple of minutes, nothing major really happens. With catapults pushing down top and middle wave, the enemy team was forced to turtle up and play passively. That is, of course, until the next objective spawned. With the 5th and final night phase beginning, our Nova was once again looking for blood while the rest of us took down the bottom terror. She spots them doing the top one and manages to burst down the Vala, but pays for it with her own life. Because we secured the entire bottom seeds, we now had a terror ready and it was impossible for the enemy team to complete one. This is the type of advantage that in the late game you have to capitalize on. This time around, Brightwing actually waits for a Nova player to be alive so we could all push together as 5. As we approach their base, our positioning is spot on. Our Anubarak is leading the charge with our plant, while our ranged DPS are sitting in the back. Pause it again. There are 2 key elements that make this fight possible for us. Anubarak is one of them. This is a guy that understands his role. He web blasts the Johanna instantly, leaving Illidan alone and vulnerable in the front lines, and then he dives their back line to prevent Vala and Lily from helping. Second, our positioning. As Illidan gets ready to metamorphosis, we're all ready to burst him down. Our 3 damage dealers are in the back here, and there's a wall between him and the rest of his team. There goes Illidan. He gets bursted down. And Nubarak walks away with a sliver of health. And we're able to focus down the core to secure the kill. That's gonna do it for this episode of Road to Rank 1. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. I'm DCLOL, and don't forget to have fun.
You are not prepared!